Hello again, and welcome to week 9, day 2. On Monday of this week, the 26th of October, it is the feast day in the Orthodox Church of St. Demetrios, the great martyr. So today we're going to read a brief life of St. Demetrios. This glorious and wonder-working saint was born in Thessalonica of noble and devout parents. Implored of God by childless parents, Demetrios was their only son, and so he was raised and educated with great care. Demetrios' father was a commander in Thessaloniki. When his father died, the Emperor Maximian appointed Demetrios as commander in his place. As he appointed him, Maximian, who was an opponent of Christ, particularly recommended that Demetrios, now commander, persecute and exterminate the Christians in Thessaloniki. Demetrios not only disobeyed the emperor, but he openly confessed Christ himself and preached the Lord Jesus Christ in the city. When the emperor heard of this, he became furious with Demetrios. Then, when he was returning from battle against the Sarmatians, Maximian stopped at Thessaloniki to investigate the matter. The emperor summoned Demetrios and questioned him about his faith. Demetrios openly acknowledged his Christian faith to the emperor, and he also denounced the emperor's idolatry. Maximian cast Demetrios into prison. Knowing what was going to happen, what was awaiting him, Demetrios gave all of his goods to his faithful servant Lupos to distribute to the poor, and he joyfully awaited his imminent suffering for Christ the Lord. An angel of God appeared to him in prison, saying, "Peace be to you, O sufferer of Christ. Be brave and be strong." After several days, the emperor sent soldiers to the prison to kill Demetrios. The soldiers found the saint of God at prayer, and they ran him through with lances. Christians later secretly took his body and buried it with honor. Healing myrrh flowed from the body of this martyr of Christ, and many of the sick were cured. Soon a small church was built over his relics. An Illyrian nobleman, Leontios, was afflicted with an incurable illness. He hastened with prayer to the relics of St. Demetrios and was completely healed. In thanksgiving, Leontios erected a much larger church on the site of the old church. The saint appeared to him on 2 occasions. When the Emperor Justinian wanted to transfer the relics of the saint from Thessaloniki to Constantinople, flaming sparks rose from the tomb, and a voice was heard, "Stop and do not touch." And thus the relics of St. Demetrios have remained for all time in Thessaloniki. As the protector and patron saint of Thessaloniki, St. Demetrios has appeared many times, and on many occasions he has saved Thessaloniki from great calamity. His miracles are without number. Now, a few thoughts about St. Demetrios. First, rather unusually among martyr saints, well, maybe not unusual, but it's important to note, Demetrios was raised a Christian from his childhood. It says that his parents were devout and pious and that they asked God to have a son. So we understand that they were Christians and he grew up that way. But at the time that he came to adulthood, it was the middle of the great persecution that the Emperor Diocletian had started together with his co-emperor, including this Maximian. So, when Demetrios' father died, because he had been the commander of the local garrison, the army in the area of Thessaloniki, the emperor promoted Demetrios, gave him his father's job, and as he left to fight a war on the borders, Sarmatia means that they were coming off the steppes, so this would be probably in modern Dacia or into the Ukraine. He was fighting with the Sarmatians in the north of the Balkans. He left Demetrios in charge and told him to persecute the Christians, to find them all out and to persecute them. Well, Demetrios instead went into the city square. He proclaimed himself to be a Christian, and he started preaching Jesus Christ. So when the emperor came back, he threw him in prison and ultimately had him killed. What we see here revealed to us is a common story of martyrdom. especially from this period where the saint knows that there's persecution happening. He could hide, but instead he proclaims himself to be a Christian, especially in Demetrios' case where he's given the authority to persecute the Christians. Instead, he names himself a Christian and accepts all of the penalties that come as a result of this. Now, we see the saint killed, and it's important too that oftentimes the lives of the saints, they don't dwell a great deal on the death. It's a matter-of-fact thing. Some saints are killed by being beheaded. Some saints are killed by being thrown to the lions. Some saints are killed by being beaten to death with clubs. And Demetrios is killed by being run through with lances. But they just describe it. It's a thing that happened. And then the story doesn't end. That is what's important. That because of the faith in the Lord Jesus Christ, because of the trust in God that we see in St. Demetrios, even though he's dead, and yet the Lord continues to work miracles through him, through his body, his relics, through his prayers, and through the church that is dedicated in his memory. And all of these healings, all of these deliverances that have come, they come through the prayers of St. Demetrios, who remains now the protector of Thessaloniki. He continues, in short, to do the job that the emperor gave to him, but instead of persecuting the Christians, he upholds them with his prayers and his intercessions, and brings them always before the throne of the Lord to pray for them and to ask for good things for his people. There are many people who are named Demetrios, named for this saint. So if you see any of them, whether in your own home or in church or around, maybe on Facebook or somewhere else, wish them Chronia Pola, a blessed feast day. So, have a blessed day. We'll see you all on day 3.